keep a stillness in your mind. This is not fleeting motivational advice. It is the blueprint for freedom. Epictetus was born in chains, stripped of physical liberty, yet he possessed a power greater than any emperor, the power to choose his response to adversity. He proved a cold truth. No one can hurt you without your consent. Today, many carry no iron shackles, yet they remain slaves to impulsive words, baseless anger, and negative thoughts. If you are ready to reclaim your sovereignty, join the Stoic journey. Subscribe and comment, "I am the master of my own soul," not as a cheer, but as a vow to yourself. The first gate to guard is your speech. A tiny tongue can build honor or burn your life down in a moment of rage. Seneca saw illustrious careers crumble over a single slip of the tongue. The Stoic is silent, not out of fear, but out of observation. Before speaking, pass your words through 3 gates. Is it true? Is it useful? Is it kind? In moments of tension, practice one simple discipline. Take 3 deep breaths before reacting. When you master your words, you begin to master your presence. Beneath your words lies your inner weather, your mood. Do not hand the keys to your happiness to a passing comment, a reckless driver, or an unreturned text. Viktor Frankl reminded us, between stimulus and response, there is a space, and in that space lies our freedom. Emotions are not commands, they are signals. Each night, ask yourself, which emotion controlled me today? How will I respond as a stronger person tomorrow? Freedom is also distorted by money and desire. Seneca was wealthy, yet tempered himself with simplicity to remember that happiness does not lie in silk. With every impulsive purchase, you aren't buying an object, you are buying a feeling. Apply the 24-hour rule to all non-essential spending and ask directly, what emotion am I trying to buy? Finally, there is the mind, a garden where every thought is a seed. Marcus Aurelius noted that life is dyed by the color of our thoughts. Events are objective. Suffering is often the story we tell ourselves. Separate the facts from the interpretation and change the question from "why me?" to "who is this training me to become?" Epictetus found freedom in a dungeon. You, holding power in your hands, what do you choose starting today? Part 1. The Awakening. From Slave to Master. There is a freedom that no prison bars can contain, and there is a form of slavery that requires no iron shackles. Let your mind settle, for this is not fleeting motivational advice. It is the blueprint for autonomy. Epictetus was born into Roman slavery. No ownership of his body, no right to choose his path, a mere possession of another. Yet amidst that constriction, he unearthed a scepter more powerful than any emperor's, the power to choose his response to adversity. His manifesto is as sharp as a blade. No one can hurt you without your consent. He did not liberate himself by breaking physical chains. He freed himself by shattering the mental shackles that force a person to react like a puppet being pulled rather than act like a master in command. Today, many bear no iron chains, yet live as modern slaves, dragged by notifications, scorched by a passing comment, controlled by road rage, or drowned by self-condemning thoughts at night. A stranger's careless word can discolor your entire day. A cold glance can steal your sleep. A silence can trigger 1,000 haunting scenarios in your mind. In all these moments, the tragedy is not that the external world is strong, but that you have handed over the steering wheel to it without even realizing. Awakening begins with the discovery, simple yet ruthless. Sovereignty lies in the space between what happens and how you react. Imagine you were driving and someone cuts you off rudely. Instinct screams to shout, to retaliate, to teach them a lesson. But if you pause for just 1 second and draw a line, their job is to be rude. My job is to maintain my dignity. Then in that exact moment, you walk out of bondage. You don't need to defeat them on the road. You need to defeat the urge to lose yourself. Epictetus could not change his circumstances. He changed his sovereignty within those circumstances. Your value is not measured by what you possess, but by whether you allow the external world to possess you. When you guard that space, you begin to reign over your inner kingdom, a place where no one can enter unless you open the gate. Part 2. Mastering the tongue, the gateway of wisdom. The first gate you must guard on the journey to autonomy is your speech. A tiny tongue with just one loss of control can burn down honor, break trust, and leave a lifetime of regret. Seneca witnessed this in Rome. Illustrious careers collapsed not because of powerful enemies, but because the owner misspoke a single sentence. Conversely, enduring alliances were built on composure, the right word at the right time. Every time you open your mouth, a version of you steps out of the shadows and into the light, a version that will live on in the memories of others. The question is not, do I have the right to speak, but rather, does this word make me respect myself more? Or am I just venting my ego at the expense of my dignity? The Stoic is not silent out of weakness, they are silent to observe. Uncontrolled words always outrun wisdom, and the ego always wants to grab the microphone before dignity can speak. Consider a familiar moment. A colleague makes a mistake, you are frustrated, you feel insulted, and instinct wants to hurl a cold, sharp remark to put them in their place. That is a cheap victory, and the price is your own character. Instead of reacting, let your words pass through 3 gates. Is it true? Is it useful? Is it kind? If even one gate answers no, silence is the master's choice, not to suppress, but to refuse to sink to the level of anger. The power of speech lies not in speaking less, but in speaking right. When you keep your word, your self-respect thickens like stone being polished every day. When you encourage sincerely, you don't just lift others. You reprogram your mind to see what is worth building, rather than searching for flaws to destroy. The simplest practice is the 3-breath rule. Part 3. Mastering the mood, the internal weather system. Your mood is the true weather system of your life. Words are merely ripples on the surface, but deep beneath, it is your inner climate that determines whether you live in serenity or in a storm. Ask yourself, how many times have you woken up and handed the remote control of your day to a total stranger? A reckless driver, a toxic comment, or a piece of bad news flickering on a screen. At the slightest stimulus, your entire internal sky changes color, and you call it my mood. The Stoic sees it differently. You are not a victim of your emotions. You are the one creating them through your interpretation. Viktor Frankl called it the space. Between stimulus and response, there is always a tiny gap, and in that gap lies your ultimate freedom. Mood is not an objective truth. It is a translation by the mind. Consider a common example. You send an important text and receive no reply. The only fact is, the message is unanswered. But within seconds, your mind directs a movie. They despise you. You did something wrong. You are about to be abandoned. It is that movie, not the silent phone, that suffocates you. The Stoic cuts the film at the first scene. I do not have enough data to conclude. They allow for a neutral script. The other person is busy, their battery died, or they are simply living their life. Change the story, and the weather changes with it. The secret is not to suppress emotions, but to remove them from the driver's seat. Treat emotions as data, not commands. Anger signals a boundary being touched. Fear reminds you to stay alert. Sadness tells you that you have lost something meaningful. You don't need to deny the dark clouds, but you don't have to turn them into a hurricane. Become your own meteorologist. Observe, label, and choose an action that aligns with your dignity. To build this habit, practice the evening reflection. Before sleep, ask 3 questions. 1. Which emotion controlled me today? 2. To whom did I hand the keys to my happiness? 3. How will I respond as a free person tomorrow? When you master your mood, you become the still point in a turning world. Part 4. Mastering money, the tool of freedom. When the mood is stilled, you will realize that freedom is still threatened by something tangible and ruthless: money. To a Stoic, money is not just a number. It is life energy crystallized from your time, sweat, and the choices you've traded away. Seneca, one of the wealthiest men in Rome, left a definition as cold as steel. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more who is poor. Poverty, in this sense, is not a bank balance. It is a lack of contentment. When you always need just a little more to feel sufficient, you are living in scarcity, even amidst abundance. Look closely at modern habits. You swipe your card not just to buy an object, but to buy a feeling. A luxury item to compensate for loneliness, a logo to hide insecurity, an expensive meal for social validation. In those moments, you do not own the object. You are begging it to grant you a temporary identity. Every impulsive purchase bleeds a part of your freedom. You bring home a thing, but you leave behind your discipline, your peace, and your self-respect. The Stoics call money an indifferent preferred. It is good to have, but it must never be allowed to rule your soul. Money is a tool. What masters you is the desire behind it. Therefore, turn your finances into a test of character. Ask, does this serve my life, or is it controlling my life? Seneca practiced voluntary hardship, living simply and eating meagerly, not to suffer, but to internalize a truth. If you do not fear lack, money loses its power to blackmail your soul. Freedom begins when you know you are perfectly fine, even without the things you crave. The discipline is clear. Apply the 24-hour rule to all non-essential spending. Pause for a day and ask directly, am I buying this object, or am I buying an emotion? Then record 3 lines: the item, the reason for the purchase, and your feeling a week later. You will find that things of lasting value are usually health, knowledge, and experience, while status items usually leave only an empty space. When you master your wallet, you are training the same muscle needed to master all other desires. And then, your hands are free enough to return to the true command center, the mind. Part 5. Mastering the mind, the command center. All control over speech, mood, or money ultimately springs from a single, supreme executive center, the mind. Imagine your mind as a garden. Every thought you allow to take root is a seed, and sooner or later, it will yield a harvest, either of peace or of chaos. Ironically, we guard our physical homes with great care, yet allow random anxieties, pessimistic scenarios, and bitter memories to enter and leave as they please, only to wonder why our inner life is so cluttered. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that our lives are dyed by the color of our thoughts. Power does not lie in what happens out there, but in your capacity to reign over your inner kingdom. To master this fortress, you need a core technique, the discipline of judgment, separating facts from stories. The fact is, it is raining. The story is, the rain is ruining my day. The fact is, my boss wants to meet. The story is, I'm in trouble. Suffering rarely comes from the data itself, but from the movie you direct and then mistakenly believe to be reality. Here is the pivot. You are under no obligation to believe every thought that drifts through your head. Thoughts are merely passers-by, not commands from a king. When you stop identifying with your worst-case scenarios, you cease being a slave to a negative imagination. Practice as a guardian of the mind. Whenever a negative spiral ignites, block it with a sharp question. Does this thought serve me or destroy me? Does it bring me closer to the version of myself I respect? If not, do not argue with it for long. Replace it immediately with a solution-oriented question. What is the best next step? A single right question can steer an entire day. Every time you change the story, you change the inner climate. Every time you choose a mindful response, you are rewriting your very structure. As the command center stabilizes, a miracle occurs. Transformation doesn't stop at thought. Speech, mood, money, and mind begin to resonate. You speak less, but with more impact. Emotions pull at you less. Desires manipulate you less. And equanimity becomes a habit. From this, an upward spiral forms, an inner strength that ensures you are no longer pushed by circumstances, but stand firm like a rocky headland against a shifting ocean. Part 6. The Ripple Effect and Transformation. The magic does not lie in trying to fix every broken piece at once, but in the resonance created when you solidify just one pillar. Imagine your life as a musical instrument. If just one string is tuned to the correct pitch, the others will naturally begin to vibrate in harmony. This is the Stoic ripple effect. When you master your speech, you create less conflict. The atmosphere around you softens and your mood stabilizes. When your mood is stable, your spending becomes mindful. You no longer use shopping to bandage your wounds. And when money stops pulling at you, the mind regains the stillness to see clearly what truly matters. Transformation isn't loud like an explosion. It is quiet like an upward spiral. Every time you defeat a moment of anger or a fleeting desire, you are adding a layer of mental muscle to withstand greater storms. Consider Sarah, a single mother once trapped in debt and irritability. She didn't start by making more money. She started with something small but difficult: silence and a breath before snapping at her children. That single choice saved her relationships and restored her emotional stability. Once stable, she stopped gap-filling with impulsive spending, reclaimed her financial autonomy, and eventually gained the clarity to start her own business. Sarah didn't just change a habit, she changed her identity. From one dragged by life to the one holding the steering wheel. This is the spirit of sympathia. When you cultivate the internal, peace ripples outward, touching your family and your community. You do not need to be perfect immediately. Choose exactly one M area, mouth, mood, money, mind, that causes you the most suffering, and practice it for 30 days with absolute intention. You will find that mastery in one area unlocks the entire system. It is a reversal of position from the person who asks, "Why me?" to the one who knows to ask, "What is this challenge training me for?" From this second onward, every collision is a gym. Every upheaval is a test. 6 months from now, you will either stand firm like a rock amidst the waves or continue to dissolve like sea foam. The choice is in your hands. Our journey began with Epictetus, a man who could not break the chains on his wrists, but who, with his own will, shattered the shackles of his mind. He did not change his adversity. He transformed himself in the very heart of it. Now, you stand before the same choice. 6 months from this moment, will you still be that old version struggling with the same old battles? Or will you be a sharp, composed, and free entity, so sovereign that no external force can intrude upon your peace? True freedom is not having an infinite number of choices. It is the steadfastness to make the right choices every single day. Do not wait for a life that is easier. Train yourself to be firmer. If these words have touched the deepest parts of your soul, leave a mark on this journey by hitting like and sharing this with those who hunger for awakening. Do not forget to subscribe to Stoic Journey so we may fortify our inner fortresses together, day by day. Leave your master's affirmation in the comments. I choose mastery over mediocrity. I choose intention over reaction. These are not just words. They are the first shot fired in the war against a life enslaved by circumstances. The future is waiting for your awakening. Begin right now.